Well, hi there folks, it's Matt Hayson here looking at this week's property market as we close out the month of August this weekend and turn a corner into spring next week. Now, a lot of people looking forward to that, me included. But August has been a challenging month for the property sector. Let's get into it. Firstly, according to CoreLogic's data, for the first 23 days so far in August, property values in Sydney were down 1.6%. Now, that brings the total price declines in Sydney to 6.6% so far through this market cycle. But here's what we're seeing at ground level, and I think this is an important thing to cover. Firstly, A-grade properties, the best of the best. Now, not a lot of these on the market, fairly resilient. We're not seeing a lot of price movement there, maybe leaning into a 5% price decline. Now, the B-grade property, now there's a lot of this churning through the market at the present time. We're seeing this far more noticeable, price declines down between 10 and maybe even up to 15% that we've seen over the last 2 weeks. And then we've got the C-grade property, very challenging to offload these properties in the market at the present time. Prices down between 15 and maybe even up to 20%, as buyers will only engage on these particular properties if they see incredible value. Now, as we know, most market commentators and forecasters were suggesting through this market cycle, property values were likely to be down between 15 and 20%. Now, we may very well have absorbed a lot of that already, and there's clear reasons why. Firstly, buyers, they future-proof themselves against the future forecasts that they're reading into the market, and they've got that fear of overpaying, so they factor that in when making an offer on a property today. Then, this is why we're very critical of a lot of the institutions forecasting why it's highly inaccurate, because it's always trailing and lagging what's actually happening on the day-to-day basis with the actions and behaviours of consumers. Then we've got a lot of auction conjecture in the market. Again, last week, CoreLogic were reporting on a rebounding auction clearance rate, sitting at 63.4% last week, up from 59.7% just the week prior. But then we've got SQM research data. They're suggesting the auction clearance rate was sitting at 41.7%. This is a whopping 34% differential in the outcomes from the very same auction data. So who is right? Well, in our view, SQM Research are the absolute gold standard in auction reporting, and if you're going to base your property decisions, base it off SQM Research data. And finally this week, folks, the hot conversation in the market does remain around the cash rate and interest rates, and you can understand why. Most economists now believe that the lifting rate cycle is going to cap out at 3.1%. Current cash rate, 1.85%. 95% of institutions believe that the cash rate is going to be increased by another half a percentage point in September. But it gets interesting. At the end of last year, you could get a fixed rate interest rate sitting at 1.95%. And by the year's end, it's going to be sitting at around 6%. And it gets even more interesting. Over the next 16 months, 2 million loans are going to roll off their fixed rate. And what that means for a typical $1 million loan coming off its fixed rate, you're looking at a 50% increase in your repayments. But the banks are very sneaky. We need to keep an eye on them. And this chart from Rate City is very alarming. And what it says is that customers looking for a new loan are getting a far better deal than their existing loyal client base. You can see here from Rate City that you're better off shopping around, and you might very well find that you can get a 25% better rate with a new bank than your current institution. So bear that in mind. So folks, that's what's going down in the property market this week. Let's keep an eye on those banks. It's great property open for inspection, and our entire team looks forward to seeing you out and about. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next week.